Meaning at this level, when there is the renaming, it is very important for us to identify which new titles are being given to us, because that is the call for the Lord concerning our lives. We know it very well in the book of Jeremiah chapter 1, is it 5, around there, where the Lord tells Jeremiah that he knew him even before he was put into his mother's womb. He knew that he would be a prophet. So there is a call upon your life. It may not be for you to get a microphone, to be on the platforms. It may be in that very area of your, let me say, that the profession that you were called for such a thing. It may be motherhood. It may be just, I don't know, just to help others. And you're not on that front line, but in whatever God has blessed you with. Because I believe when he has called us for something, he gives us the grace that sustains us in there and the provisions for it. So, having entered into the light of our Lord Jesus, our eyes are open to know what we have been called for. We have been separated. That is, when we go an extra mile, be like, okay, the light has been shed, then let me consecrate myself. Let me separate myself for the Lord. Then he separates you from darkness. That is what the Lord does. And after that, there is a new renaming. Let us go on, because that has been verses 4 of Genesis chapter 1. And then we continue Genesis chapter 1 and 6. Dispersed only to be collected back. So, having been, like, there is a division. It talks about division. Let us read there. Genesis chapter 1 verses 6. It says, then God commanded, let there be a dome to divide the water and to be kept in two separate places. Children of living God, I'd love you to know this, that when we enter into that kind of separation and consecration, most of the times we will lose our friends, we will lose those old relationships, we may lose things, but it is not to take us into that area of tears and pain and everything. Sometimes it is the Lord rebuilding us. He is God, and because of his love, he is cutting off whatever is unnecessary. Because imagine if you're carrying all the burdens, all the kind of people that are not required in your journey, because this is a new journey that you have to take. And because of the love of God, he tends to cut off of all those things. He tends to help us through, that we may reach to the finishing line with lightweight, like with the kind of people that we need in our lives. So that which you're seeing as brokenness, that which you're seeing as rejection right now, when you have taken yourself before the Lord, I'm like, God, I've been separated, now I'm here before you. It is him helping us to have the right circles, to have the right doings as we continue with the journey in him. So that brings division. And here, he was dividing the water to keep it in two separate places. Let us continue. So, after that, we see, and it was dome. So God made a dome, and he separated the water under it from the water above it. 8 says, Genesis 1:8, he named the dome sky. Evening passed and morning came. That was the second day. Verses 9 says, then God commanded, let the water below the sky come together in one place, so that the land will appear. Then after divisions have come in, there is a recollection. Now that you have been broken into pieces, seeing your friends going away, seeing yourself losing things, seeing yourself losing yourself, because that is not who you used to be before light was shed. That is not who you used to be. You used to have that smooth life. Everything was flowing according to your plans. And now things seem out of control. And at that moment, that is when he collects you back and brings you back. That is when you start realizing how things should work out in the spirit. Now that you are a child of God, how you should treat yourself, how you should handle everything. Now he brings a collection. Okay, let us go on. And after that, we see, and it was dome. 10 says, Genesis 1:10, he named the land earth, and water, which had come together, he named the sea. And God was pleased with what he saw. Then he commanded, let the have I missed something? Then he commanded, let there be what? Because it is after this collection that clarity is brought. We are redefined. Yes, I think I must have missed something. Because after collecting back, oh yeah, sure. After he collected back the waters, is in 9, let us go back to 9. Then God commanded, let the water below the sky come together in one place, and so the land will appear. So after there is a collection, there is an appearance. Meaning now we have gotten the definition, we've gotten the clarity. It was at that moment after the water had been separated from the land, now we would see the land. Or else we wouldn't see the land if the water was still covering that area. So now that there has been separation, we are able to see. Now that you have been divided and collected back, and now there is clarity. Now you see where you're going. Now you know what to do. Yes. Just after that, there came provision and supply. And God, let us go to 11, Genesis 1:11. Then he commanded, let the earth produce all kinds of plants, those that bear grain and those that bear fruit. And it was done. The Lord knows it very well that we need provision. And yes, this is the grace that carries us into that divine provision. Now it is divine provision. Having gone through all this, now the divine provision comes in. You've been elevated after the clarity back. Now you've been elevated. Now you know how God provides, because how God provides is not how we expect it sometimes. But even in the midst of pain, even in the midst of scarcity, there is a provision that the Lord is giving you. He is sustaining your life. So we enter into the divine provision just after the clarity. Let us go on. Then signs, times and seasons. As we continue in Genesis chapter 1 verses 12. So the earth produced all let us go to 13. Evening passed and morning came, that was the third day. Then God commanded, let lights appear in the sky to separate day from night, and to show the time when days, years, and religious festivals begin. They will shine in the sky to give light to the earth. And it was done. So God made the two larger lights, the sun to rule over the day and the moon to rule over the night. He also made the stars. He placed the lights in the sky to shine on the earth, to rule over the day and the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God was pleased with what he saw. Evening passed and morning came. That was the fourth day. So here we see the seasons and times. Now that we've entered into the divine provisions, it is time to realize the times and the seasons. That there are times we are in that peace, but there are times that warfare comes against us. Now that we are the children of the living God, the devil hates us. He doesn't want us to continue anymore with our consecration. He doesn't want us to continue anymore with doing the right things for the Lord, because we know it very well that it's by grace that we live our lives out. The Bible tells us in the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter, 5 and 15, that we live out lives for Christ. That Christ died for us. For Christ, he lived life for his Father. And now also we are living life for him. So because of his death, he died for us. So his death, he went through pain for you and me. Imagine. Now that he died for us, also us, we've been given that grace to live lives out for him. So we continue. Just after the seasons, the times and seasons, there is a filling in from emptiness. Let us continue. 20. Then God commanded, let the water be filled in with many kinds of living beings, and let the air be filled with birds. So there is a filling in of the missing gaps. So at that moment, maybe you're going through warfare and things are not going on as we want. At that time, God starts to fill you in the missing gaps, because at that time you're broken. Preaching was a communication for our entire lives. So let us continue. So there is leadership and dominion coming after, because after all the creation, we see God saying that let us make man. That is 31. That is 27. So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. That is already power and authority. That is already power and authority. He created them male and female. That is dominion.